Morning, fellas.
Morning.
What's up?
You know, bring your horse to work day.
Yeah, you can bring your dog in Lowe's. I see Jamie found fuel cells.
Well, Ray found them, thankfully.
It's a good thing we don't take Jamie shopping every day. This is taking forever.
What do you think? Is that what we're looking for?
6x6?
Yeah?
Thanks again to Lowe's for sponsoring this video. If you didn't get it already, we're building the decks and Lowe's supplied everything we needed to do that, so thank you.
You're about to feel the heaviest thing on the job site that you haven't felt yet.
I'm gonna teach you how to lift it. Let the weight of it help you get it up. Tips it back to you.
That's impressive.
Show me that again, I didn't see that.
Yeah. Hey, just show us about 12 more times, all right? Well, we're gonna build a deck. Got all of our footings here ready to go, except for
Right.
there's a footing under there somewhere and we buried it while we're moving dirt.
Don't worry. I'm gonna find it right now with this.
And while we're at it here, we're gonna go ahead and build up the grate against the house so that water flows away. This is way easier to do before you put the deck in the way. What we've got going on right now is some flashing against the house, and it's a vinyl flashing, and the reason for it is in case there's any butt joints in our deck bands. Now there's another layer of protection of water behind that if water were to get through the butt joint, and it hangs down 1 inch, and that's to help prevent the capillary effect where water would kind of lip back up and could ever get into any woodwork. And so that's a good idea. We've got the top zip taped, and Jono even chalked a line for the zip tape, so it would look amazing.
And it does. I would even call it a sub-flashing because there's going to be a few more layers of flashing added later.
The reason it's not metal, if you're wondering, is because the chemicals in the pressure-treated wood can corrode metal in pretty badly. I've taken old deck bands off of houses before. There was nothing left of the metal flashing.
Board is froze.
You done froze up!
Let's take a look at the height of the deck framing in relationship to the subfloor. It's kind of important. What we like to do is hold the deck band down 2 inches from the subfloor. And then we're gonna use a 1 inch thick decking material represented by this fine piece of wood. And you can still see we're 1 inch below the finished surface of the subfloor inside. That way water that might be on top of the deck cannot just go right in under your door sill, because that could happen if it was flush.
I've seen it happen. I've repaired where that has happened before on different houses.
You know, it stinks because sometimes you might not even know you have a water problem until it's way too late. It could be 5 or 10 years of a problem that you had, and then you don't notice it until, boom, the floor falls out from under you or something crazy. I don't even know. You get what I'm saying, though. A lot of damage can happen in a hidden place, so you'll never see it until it's too late.
You ever been sitting in a hole with an angry man in a level before?
Never. This is a new experience for me.
Just in case you're not familiar with the tools we're using for this project here, this is a rotary hammer drill.
And it'll go into concrete, which seems impossible to a lot of people.
It's almost effortless, actually, to drill a hole in concrete with this thing. And it also it's not very loud. Now, we're hearing protection, but it's
not that loud.
It's not even that loud. It almost seems
really
like a joke.
Hammering action and the spinning at the same time that makes it work in concrete.
You better hope that thing goes all the way in.
Oh, it's
if
going.
not, we're in trouble.
Hey, a pro tip is that we did run the drill bit in and out a few times after we hit the full depth just to get the rest of the dust out of there.
Yeah.
Because if you don't do that, I guarantee you it would not go all the way in. So it went.
And when you said we, you did mean me.
Yeah. Where's my wrench?
My muscle, your money, is that what you know we?
Yeah. All right, so we're just gonna get a couple turns on that. Big galvanized washer.
Oh, she ain't going anywhere right there, Daddy. Yeah. Oh, man.
So good. That's a wedge anchor. These are really cool. When you drive them in, you can hit them in, but then when you tighten the nut and it starts to pull this out, it pulls this collar down over this belt out part of the bolt and basically wedges itself tighter and tighter the more force you apply to it. That's why it's called a wedge anchor. I think.
Hope they work.
They do work great.
And let's not forget the humble string line. Now, this might seem like ancient technology, and perhaps it is, but it's just as relevant and useful today on the construction site as it has ever been.
I love string lines.
We couldn't build a house without a string. What if somebody said, all right, build me a house, but you can't use a string?
Not going to do it.
I'd be like, well,
Find yourself another builder.
impossible, impossible.
The way we're using these string lines is that they represent the outside edge of our framing. That's where we have it set right now. And so that's nice. We can also find the center point and mark the center point of our post in this direction just by putting a dot on the string line with a Sharpie, and you can see that that's pretty visible as long as you kind of know where to look. And we'll just plumb down from that onto our footing with a 2-foot level, and then we can set our post base exactly where we want it. So I really like using string lines. It just takes a lot of stress out of it versus just pulling tapes this way and that kind of thing. Getting everything in line really nicely.
It's nice, and I feel like I got to mention here, the string line is not leveled like in the vertical plane.
It's not.
It is just like,
It's like this.
laterally, like side to side in the right position.
Yeah.
Height-wise, it is not.
And it doesn't matter at this point.
It doesn't.
Jason has requested that I demonstrate plumbing down because he hates doing it. And it is kind of hard. So you got to get the level running plumb and in the right position at the bottom at the same time, which is a little bit of a, I just kind of like to bump it, check it, bump it. That looks good, so I'm going to mark that is our face, and then I'm going to mark center of the post. Same technique. Plumb it. Wow, did I do that first shot?
That was actually the 4th take. He
Oh,
just-
no, that was the first thing. No, I did. That's it. That's the center.
He's just good at editing. That was the 4th take.
That's not edited. Okay, so we're going to center, our bracket's going to go there. That's the center line. That's the front edge.
Nice.
One day we forget the rotary laser. I got a freaking awesome Geomax rotary laser.
1.5 inches.
But we're using this little, what do you call that thing?
So Bosch.
A little Bosch,
Bosch.
line laser. It'll get it level. It's self-leveling. So what's the number?
50 and, 3/4.
50 3/4
minus
minus inch and a half.
1.5 inches minus.
Hey, I could cut some of that hose up and we could fill it with water and we could use that as a leveling device.
write this on your 50 and... We don't have the big saw either. I think we're trying to prove that we could build this deck with just any old tool, just like anybody. It's like a competition to see what we could build with
What's the big saw?
this saw that'll cut all the way through the 6x6 in one shot.
Oh, yeah, I mentioned that to Jamie this morning.
Yeah.
He said we didn't need it.
No laser, no saw.
He did tell me to grab a handsaw, though. I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
Dude, we can build this deck with just a handsaw. It's no
yeah, we're
problem.
going back to Arlo's age. We're going to build this thing like they did back in the day.
It'll be better. To help make a strong connection between our post and our girder, we're notching the post so that the girder can lap into the post. We can fasten it really well. And this is the way I like to notch them right here. We're just using a skill saw and taking out 3 1/8 inch. That's how thick our girder is. You could do this with a chainsaw or a sawzall, maybe a little faster, but I think this is a cleaner, more accurate way to do it, and it's still pretty fast. We're getting this done with the little laser. What if someone didn't have any laser? Can we demonstrate how you might figure out the height here?
Yep. If you don't have a fancy laser level, this old school method works just fine. I've got a relatively straight board and a good 4-foot level. All I have to do is put the bubble in between the two lines right there. My man's gonna measure the height off of the base plate.
55.5.
Okay, and that's your number.
That's your number. Now, if you're using a laser like this, it has a locked mode and a float mode. If it's in locked mode, it'll shoot a laser line whatever angle this thing's at, and it can really mess you up. Just as bad as about anything, isn't that right?
Oh, it can be really bad. I would love to tell you some reasons, some stories, but I'm not going to for the protection of me.
This is the thing that I always do. While I'm tightening this down, I'm also sighting across the string line to the edge of my bracket to make sure it's squared up, you know, running parallel right there.
Square well. We're lapping these framing members in such a way that it only looks like a single face member and a single member, even though we've got a double, it's hidden, because it looks janky to me to have two sticking out the end like that.
Yeah.
To me, it's like a little bit of an amateur move, so we always stagger our joints back in.
For aesthetics.
We want it to look
So it
good.
looks pretty.
Yeah. The framing is the finish work on a deck like this, because we're not going to cover this with anything. What you see is what you get, so it better be dang good.
Yeah, what he said.
Before we go slapping all the joists to this, we're gonna have our moment of truth. Is our girder level with our band? It's one way to find out. Is it?
I'd say it's dead nuts.
Did Jamie teach you the compaction dance?
He did.
Let's see your footwork here.
There it is. Oh, wow. Oh, there it is. That's beautiful. That's so good. High gear right there.
Rookie of the year, man. That was beautiful.
So I didn't realize Porter was learning the river dance over there at UT. I saw that movie he was doing on there, man. Porter, you take classes for that or what?
Yeah, I do.
Man, that was pretty impressive. What's his name? Michael. What's his name? The Lord of the Dance? Yeah, Michael. His feet flailing around like they're like not even part of his body. It's kind of weird.
I know people have different techniques all over the world, but I bet most people do it exactly like this.
Probably. You could
know?
use like a big tamper thing,
Yeah.
but I think that's worse on your back than just doing this. People pay money to just do that at the gym. It's free.
So I bet people think we just really love to shovel, but it's good to fill these in, and compacting's important.
It is good to compact it so it doesn't settle out later and then make a depression right where your wooden post is. You know, it'd be like a pond. You don't want your wood post in a pond.
No.
High and dry is better.
Let me tell you a story about my college roommate, Matt. He's a great guy, still is a great guy, but one night in college, about 2 in the morning, he came staggering into our dorm room.
Which maybe wasn't anything out of the ordinary.
No, not necessarily, but what was weird was he was bleeding, and he was burned, and his clothes were torn. He was at a party on a deck, and the deck broke loose of the house on the side that's attached to the house, a whole story off the ground, and everybody on that deck, including the charcoal grill that was cooking the hot dogs, came tumbling down. Several people were injured. He made it out fairly unscathed, except for charcoal burns and blood everywhere. So it's really important to get the side of the deck against the house, fastened to the house really well. So we're using joist hangers at the end of the joist. We're using these GRK RSS structural screws to put through the band and attach the band to the house, because I think that's the most common place that you would have a deck failure because of water coming down the siding and rotting the ends of the joists or rusting your fasteners in half.
What happened to my drink?
I don't know, bro. So whenever y'all say it's crowned, does that mean it's just humped in the middle of it, of the board?
Yes! Woo! Yes! You're a carpenter! Woo!
It's got to be faster than gravity.
You gotta be faster than gravity. Dude, that was brilliant, Arlo. Thank you.
Arlo just let me borrow his tweezers, and they're magical. That little thing hurts so bad in my thumb. It's crazy how much that could hurt. Get out of here. You might want to clean that. There's blood all over him.
Yeah, exactly.
2 decks down, only 1 to go. This one is gonna be framed or constructed a little bit differently. We're gonna use a drop girder, meaning the floor joists are actually gonna run on top of a girder instead of having the girder out at the front. And that's gonna give us a cantilever so that our footings could be closer to the house. Now, why does that matter? Well, in this case, it matters a lot because the slope of the natural ground underneath this fill dirt is really steep.
Gone.
So for every 2 feet you go out, we might have to dig 4 feet deeper to get to solid ground.
At
And
a certain point, we couldn't even dig any deeper with the
it
excavator.
gets to a make or break kind of point, and so we decided that it's best for us to scooch it back. We dug about as deep as we could, put concrete in there. Now we're gonna hang the deck over.
Why is Jason by himself?
Lunch, maybe. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not throwing him under the bus.
When it makes your eyes water,
Don't stand behind him. You're gonna get pink eye.
When you think it smells bad, you know it's bad. Yo, where's everybody at?
You evacuated that whole corner, bro.
We're checking to make sure that the excavator that's gonna deal with all this dirt back here can actually fit back here. It's really close. I went online, checked the specs of the machine that's gonna be on site.
Wow.
To make sure that
Did
we
some
have
research.
the exact or plus width. We don't have much extra, and I wouldn't want to be driving a machine that's really close to the edge of this bank. So we have a professional machine guy. He's gonna take
He
care
doesn't
of
mind.
He
does
don't
it
care
all
at
day.
all.
So he's gonna trench in from here all the way around the house to way over there for the leach field. That's what's gonna happen.
You've been replaced by a piece of wood.
Here, I call him Little Jay.
Bro, I thought we were buddies.
We are buddies.
They're gonna brace it right now, but check this out. Without the porch roof built and without this brace, it's solid.
Bouncy.
But it'll be solid when we're done.
It's like a 5-year-old's birthday party. It's like a bounce house.
Yeah.
We didn't push it in yet, bro.
Clip it or go home.
Take it to the house.
All right.
So, you know, Arlo said he wants to go to the International Building Show with us.
I know. But he was like, what if I get a ticket and then I decide not to go?
Yeah.
I'm like, bud.
I think he needs to
got
put
it.
he needs to put a deposit down.
Yeah, I know. You're
needs
going
to-
or you're
He
not.
needs to put some. He needs to be vested.
So I got to get a bigger room if he's going.
Yeah, I'm
Not
not sleeping
myself.
with Jones on the couch with Jones. I'll tell you that much right now. Jones, you snore? Snore? Yeah.
That's a lie. Hey, he's asleep. You can't tell if he snored.
I gotta ask Becca.
Hey, and welcome to my sunroom / office. No longer my bedroom / office. It's a lot noisier out here though, so we're gonna try to get this done with no major interruptions. And today we're looking at the HOUZZ PRO software again. We're looking at the timeline feature. If you've missed our other segments about HOUZZ PRO, it's a all-in-one business solution for builders, remodelers, contractors, designers. It's online, and of course you can try it for free, so check it out. The timeline tool is a powerful tool that allows you to map out your project so that you and your subs and even the client in the client dashboard know when things are happening without having to call each other all the time to figure it out. And you can do this by mapping out the important stages of your projects in different colors. And if they're moved, the people associated with those tasks will automatically get an email so that everybody stays straight on when they're supposed to be there and getting things done with no confusion. If you didn't know already, keeping things scheduled on a project as big as a house is one of the hardest parts, and this will really help your scheduling be fine-tuned. And of course, if you're managing multiple projects, you can go to the timeline overview, which will show you all of the timelines you've created. And pros can now also create dependencies between items and sub-items by entering the dates or by linking them together. And this is pretty common, like if your drywall doesn't get done, Your paint also gets shifted down the line. You can make the timeline visible to the client in the client dashboard, which is very professional looking, by the way, and clients love to know when things are going to start and stop, and they won't have to call you to ask. So thanks again to HOUZZ for working with us on this project. We'll talk more about the client dashboard later. Thank you guys for watching our video today, and we'll see you on the next one.